serious right now?
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some might.
A lot of fire,
it's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny?
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of the United States.
I wasn't representing anybody except for me.
Around the world.
And doing good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die. Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Your choices. Your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. It's somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
You have a dog?
Good evening, everyone. This is Read the Room Productions with your host, Andrew, and today I got my two collaborators. I have Clint and Alex, and today we are going to be discussing so much on everything to talk about. Of course, watching the Superman trailer. We got Peacemaker coming in, and then as we continue, we got Spider-Man Noir, Godzilla and Kong Supernova. We have Ironheart trailer, Nobody 2, AMC Theaters, The Long Walk, and more upcoming movies. So if you haven't subscribed, please do that by hitting the subscribe button, ring the bell to get notified on the latest videos. And if you have all the social media platforms that I have for you, Facebook, Instagram, X, including TikTok and Rumble, please sure to check it out. But as always, guys, thank you for joining me, and let's get started. And so, for our first thing we're going to be discussing is the Superman trailer reaction. So, guys, what did you think watching the Superman trailer? How did it make you feel?
Clint, I'm gonna go towards you on this. I think you're the quintessential DC fan, so I think we need to know your thoughts first.
I think that James Gunn knows the assignment. I think that like it's not dark and like rainy and like everything that the Snyderverse is, and I don't think that James Gunn has like tried to like change gears of what the Snyderverse is. I'm not gonna say that by any means, but I do think that he understands who Superman is, and he wants to save people. He wants to do the right thing. He is a a beacon of hope for everybody in, the DC world or on planet Earth or whatever. I want to see a little bit more of David Cornsweth as, in another trailer, a little bit more as Superman, but I do think that the relationship that he is building with him and Lois in this trailer is quintessential as well, because it's important. It's important to have those two, like, work off of each other really well, as both Clark and Superman. I thought it was cool to see Mercy. She's Lex Luthor's assistant. That was kind of cool, like what they're gonna do with her. And even like some of the supporting cast. I am a bit confused, having watched Creature Commandos, on why Rick Flag is the head of the Justice, or the Defense Department of Defense.
Justice Society.
So I'm not sure if that's going to come out. No, Rick Flag. I thought that they were pointing towards him being the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, that's right. Secretary of Defense, secretary. So basically, he's sort of doing is having Superman being like the sort of total reckoning, and basically he's going after him somewhat in the trailer, and that's what's really interesting about his character. Like, even though Creature Commandos is a little off base sort of way, because it feels like it's like many years after Superman, and so we'll see if it's like sort of like connected somehow. But it was interesting just watching this trailer, and there's some few things that I kind of picked up on while as I was watching the second trailer, but there was just so much to talk about with Rick Flag Sr., and I don't know what his story is going to be. I mean, that's where we got to find out soon as we continue to see this coming up in July.
Overall, I thought that the trailer, it looked fun. Clint, you're right. It looks fun. It looks interesting. It's not dark and gloomy. Now, granted, I am a fan of the darker tone DC movies that we have had for the last, decade or so. But this one it feels different in a much refreshing way. Now, granted, it is obviously, first step in a new line of movies. But it looks fun. I don't know really that much Superman material other than just kind of what generally everybody knows. But I have more like an observation and then one question. My observation feels like this is like a Superman that, yes, is super and like mostly invincible and all all the stuff, super strength and all that. But he feels like he has how would I call it? Like a goofy, like, I don't know, kind of quirky, I'm getting this wrong kind of vibe. And I don't know if that's supposed to be like the vibe it's giving off. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong. And then my question
here's what I'm saying.
And then here's my question is, what, from when he became Superman to now, how far is that of him being Superman? Like, how long is this supposed to have been? Like, has he been Superman for, a few months, a couple of years? That's just kind of a big question that I had.
Well, that's a really, really good question, I would say, Alex. I could see that coming into like what James Gunn is kind of having his vision for, where it's like, he even said before, like, this is a movie where it's getting right into the action. So it is basically like Superman's been there for like months. And so you kind of like saw in the trailer where like Lois Lane sort of figures out, that he is Superman, because she knows somewhat of his quirkiness that, he can tell, like, he's a kind of fit dude that would go in and start, saving the world. But what was so cool about watching the trailer was the way he changed his voice. Did you notice that? Like, when he was, like, talking, like, like he was Clark Kent, like, yeah, sure, yeah. And then all of a sudden he's like, Lois Lane? Like, that kind of made me understand that's his identity. That's his persona of what makes Clark Kent Superman. Or Superman meets Clark Kent. It kind of is the question where, like, many years has started and Clark already became, like, Superman for, like, years. And so, going back to this movie, I'm kind of like really curious how like putting all those new characters together is going to really make any sense because we don't even know much of these characters. I mean, we've seen them in the comic books, but hopefully it's going to develop more as the movie comes out soon.
Yeah, overall, good trailer. I don't want to be exposed to pretty much any more of the movie. I think I have a good taste of what's to come. I feel good about what's coming out, and I think if there's more trailers in between now and July 11th, I'm gonna pass on them in a very much I don't want to get any more of this movie exposed to me than I need to kind of way. So I like this trailer, and I thought it was fairly good. I mean, I watched it with my dad, who's an old school Superman fan. I mean, he's grown up watching Superman like since the beginning, and so he knows what he's talking about. And he was like, "I think this is a good trailer. Like, it has characters and elements that he's not really like usually into. Just like I said, he's old school, so it's very basic. But he thought that this was a really good trailer, and he's like, I really want to see this. So I
Cool.
all around good vibes.
All right, let's move on to Peacemaker, the next DC Studios project that is going to be a TV series with John Cena returning. And basically, it feels a little different when you watch the trailer because when you saw the season one, it was like before DCU became, and now it's kind of like going from after watching Superman to now we're getting this trailer. So, what did you think coming out of this
I'll have to
trailer?
default to you guys because I didn't watch this one. So Clint, all you.
I thought it was good. Like um, I'm excited on like where they're gonna take Peacemaker because I did love the first season. It was kind of like one of those like surprise hits when it came out. Like I was kind of surprised. Like I liked him in the Suicide Squad, but I didn't think that could carry his own show. But like the first season was done really well, and I have a funny feeling that they're going to pull him from whatever DCEU and bring him into DCU. I think it's
I mean,
um,
I mean, you
what do you
could
call it?
see like in the
Multiversal thing.
trailer. Oh yeah, multiverse for sure. Like, cause you see in the trailer, and I was just about to explain it. Like through the doors, you kind of saw at the end of the trailer. There's actually two peacemakers,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, it makes sense because one's a different universe, one's the DCEU, and my feeling is I have a prediction saying he's gonna kill the DCU's peacemaker and take his reign. So like he has the outfit and stuff like that. That's my prediction coming from this. So we'll
Well,
see.
Hmm.
But
yeah, I'm
anyway,
excited for
guys,
it.
I'm really excited too. So, wow, thanks for sharing and can't wait when it comes out after watching Superman. I think it comes out in August, I believe. So
Mhm.
like sort of like after when
Hmm.
Superman hits. So, can't wait. All right, next on our topic, Spider-Man Noir. So from the Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse and into the Spider-Verse. So what do you tell me about the live action sequence with Nicolas Cage in it?
So I watched three trailers back to back to back. So Superman, Noir, and the Nobody 2 trailer, which we'll get into in a second. And this one, I want to like this. I mean, it probably will end up being okay, but I'm just like, this is goofy. I'm sorry, Nick Cage. Nick Cage, you're a great actor and all that in your own right, but just when I see you, I expect a goofy, and I'm just like, it's hard not to expect that here. So, but I'm sure you guys think it's a little bit better. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, to be honest with you, Alex, I mean,
Um,
it looked interesting,
Clint,
but I
Clint, what
mean,
do
there
you think?
I like I'm kind of on the same boat. I'm very interested in this because it is Spider-Man Noir, and it is like an Otherworlds kind of thing. And I liked that storyline in Marvel, but like yeah, like Nicolas Cage, like I don't know if he's gonna be able to do. Like maybe he is. Maybe he is. Like maybe he's gonna be able to do all the stunts that like Spider-Man's supposed to do. But then again, like I'm like my expectations is a little tempered because it is on Amazon Prime and it is a TV show and whatever. So I don't know.
Well, that's good you say that. I mean, you keep your expectations low, maybe it's going to be a hit. I mean, you look at all the other shows that people have said, like, oh, you know what, it's going to be amazing, and then you turn this out, oh, it was really that bad.
Well, I think we're
But,
writing with a joke from. It's more or less a joke from what is it? Into the Spider-Verse.
yeah.
That's kind of where it feels like this is kind
Yes.
of coming from. Like, oh, hey, that's hey, remember that? Let's
Hmm.
make that into an entire. And I didn't even know it was a show. I thought it literally was just a movie, like another hour 40 movie. I didn't know they were making it into an entire series. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, but see the funny thing is that Prime is actually like I don't know how they got some of these rights from Sony, but they're actually supposed to be making like three or four Spider People movies. So they're
That's what I
supposed to be
heard
doing
too.
this one, obviously, because we watched the trailer. And then they're supposed to be doing Silk, who is a Asian American Spider Woman. And she has mostly the same powers as Peter, but like her webs come out of her fingers, and like she kind of like makes like yeah, it's like she kind of makes webs and stuff. Where that is, I have no idea. I'd rather see that than this. Though this being in black and white, I do think it's going to be pretty cool.
I mean, I agree with you, Clint. That's why I was going to make the argument and say what I love about the trailer is not only it's in black and white, but there's like something really like kind of fascinating about this because there's more to the story. I mean, hopefully, like with Nicolas Cage, sort of like bringing in that inner side of Spider-Man Noir. Maybe there's some cool story that we'll learn as we kind of like watch the show. I mean, that's why I'm praying that, I keep my expectations low, but like hopefully it's going to build more. Kind of like certain shows that you can think of that, people started to think, oh, I don't know if the show's going to be good. Then it was really great. I thought of Andor. I thought it'll be an okay show. But then when I watched it, I'm like, I love it. It's amazing. And so that's why you keep it low. Everything's going to start working itself out in no time.
Well, speaking of
So
Star
anyway,
Wars, I told Clint that I was doing this. I started watching Rebels, and unfortunately, I haven't finished the first season, but I am towards the end of it. And that's really solid. So I'm working my way finally into the current realm of Disney movie. I know, right? Look at me. There's so much media. I'm like all this homework. Um, I don't have to watch The Bad Batch, I've been told. So in order to watch Ahsoka, which is what I'm working
oh,
towards. No,
Yes.
okay, I didn't think
mm-hmm.
so.
Yes.
Yes. All right, guys, let's move on to the next thing. Let's start with the Godzilla and Kong Supernova. Thoughts?
So
Stop.
I like these. I like. Yeah, I know. So
Oh
mine is a little
man.
bit more complex than that. I think that these are not terrible movies. Are they more or less cash grabs? That's pretty arguable. Possibly, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, kind of. Um, but they are junk food. I mean, we all eat snacks. We all junk on like all kinds of crap, like Cheetos and stuff. And this is kind of like that for movies. But I appreciate them. Now, granted, they always take a second viewing for me. Track record has been I always like these movies the second round. So, I mean, and that's except for King of the Monsters. King of the Monsters, I loved instantly. And when I rewatched it, like I think last year, probably. Anyway, I loved it even again, and I was just like, everything else is like it just takes a second watch, and I'm like, these are all decent. Like I'm going to have to just all right, let me iron out two dates where I have to watch it, and then I'll like it the second time. So I think these are going to be. This one's going to be good again. It's Godzilla. It's what we all want. Now, what we really want is Godzilla minus two. I would guess the sequel to
Oh
that.
yeah, you know it.
Because as you all know,
I'm
I
ready for
love
it.
that one. That one's my favorite. So
That is a good one.
But yeah, that is a good one. Clint, do you want to say something about Godzilla and Kong? Yeah, both.
No. I know Alex knows. Yeah, no, Alex knows my feelings about this. I will say this though. I as much as I love Alex and his taste for junk food movies, I will say that these are better than the Fast and the Furious movies, and I will die on that hill. So there you go, buddy.
Wow,
I'll take
I'm just
that.
gonna say this. Wow, the way you just said it was better than the Fast and Furious. I mean, I kind of have that kind of similarity towards this, even though I love Fast and the Furious movies. But yeah, the last one, I'm kind of a little
The
bit,
biggest question
you
is
know,
when are we getting Space
meh.
Godzilla?
Yeah, Space Godzilla would be kind of something to watch. But anyway, I'm just kidding. I don't know if how you could put a Godzilla in space. It's what, science,
Pretty
perhaps?
sure there
I
is a
mean,
Space Godzilla. I'm pretty sure that's a main thing in like the old like
Probably.
70s version. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
I bet it would be on Tubi than in the
Oh yeah,
theaters.
probably.
But anyway, I would say about
Yeah.
Godzilla and Kong Supernova, I think it may be potentially good, but to be honest, and I agree with you, Alex, Godzilla Minus One is my favorite Godzilla movies because I really enjoy the action. I like it kind of puts a lot of faith and heart into the story. And I believe like when we get a sequel, it is going to be amazing. And we'll find out as, years go on. I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get a sequel, but who knows? But we'll see what Supernova brings from the last installment, which was The Rise Empire. So hopefully this one will beat it out, but I'm keeping my expectations very low. So,
Very wise of you. Very wise.
thank you. All right, you ready for the next one? Cool. Next, we got
Yeah.
Ironhearts. Oh, this is the show that is based off of the sequel from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and it is her as what's her name exactly again? Because I forgot her name in this.
Um,
Is it Riley?
Riri
It's
Williams.
some name, but there it is, Riri Williams. So she is now the main focal point of this story, which is going to, I think, set some really good tones to it. I mean, what are your thoughts, guys, on that?
Um, I as pessimistic as it might sound, I don't have thoughts on this. I just kind of will go into it. That pure and simple. I don't have thoughts. I'm just gonna watch it. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that other than just that.
Um, I think I'm with you, Alex, where it's just like I think with the MCU projects on TV are very very hit or miss. And it's not like some people can just like they can't just pick them up and be like, yes, this was great. This is like some like a lot of people are just like this one sucks, this one's great, this one sucks. And I think that with this one, because of the delays of this one, because this was supposed to come out like 2 years ago. Um, I'm not entirely sure. Like I'm not like I'm kind of like pessimistic as well because like I love Riri as like a character because she was started by Brian Michael Bendis in like her own comic book. So in the comic books she's like she's not taking up any type of like Iron Man mantle, and I think that that's what like they're trying to like they're gonna try and squash like early on in this series is that she's not taking on any type of mantle, like she's doing this for herself, and I think that like they like I said they need to establish that quick, but they also need to establish um like it being good. like because if it's not, like her character is gonna be like washed down the drain, like a lot of these other characters are.
I mean, I agree with that, Clint. It's just very tough because with the whole MCU becoming like, oh, hit and miss, like certain movies, oh, it's good. Certain movies, oh, it's bad. I mean, you look at other characters that are going to be missed out. Look at the Eternals. I didn't like the Eternals movie, but they're going to be now thrown away like trash because they're not going to be in Avengers Doomsday. They're not going to be in a sequel coming out. And so, yeah, I hope they treat Ironheart with care. And so hopefully that she will be a really good character to hopefully she'll be in Avengers Doomsday and the MCU can keep continuing on as time goes. So it's very challenging right now since the MCU TV shows are becoming, less enjoyable, but hopefully it will become enjoyable as the MCU becomes better and better, because even Thunderbolts was a really good movie, so there's hope.
Well, I also think that like with Daredevil Born Again, like it separates itself from the MCU where it doesn't have to be like overly connected with everything. And I think that like the gimmick of that was great like in the beginning of the MCU where it was just like, yes, we have like the Avengers and all this stuff is kind of connected, but you have like 6 Avengers. Like 4 of them got their movies. 2 of them were just kind of like thrown in there because they were like a part of like this like shield. So that gimmick was like cool in the beginning, and then all through like the Endgame like era, it was cool because you only have so many characters that you have. And now with the TV shows coming out and like the X-Men now being a part of like the MCU and like the Fantastic Four being yes, very excited about the X-Men. Like all these characters now, like Shang-Chi, like you said, the Eternals, everything else like that, it's just like the gimmick of all of this stuff being like connected is now so overbearing that even I, who watch every single thing, is like, okay, like we got to start separating this stuff. I think that they need to do the Eternals, like they need to do a sequel to the Eternals in a Disney Plus show.
I agree. I think Eternals was too long. I think if they were to create it into a show, you could develop their characters even more. I mean, because it was like almost 3 hours long, and there were so many characters that needed to be talked about. And I think if you put it in a show, you could really explain more as the story goes on, and it would have heart. So I totally agree with you. So can't wait to see what the MCU is going to be doing soon. And we already know Fantastic Four is coming out in July, right next to when Superman is out. So it should be very exciting, and can't wait for that. All right, guys, let's go with the next topic.
July's gonna be
You ready
packed.
for this?
Yeah, really.
July? Oh, you know it is, because you got Jurassic World, Superman, Fantastic Four, all 3, all buying tickets. And I wouldn't be surprising if a trilogy starts to happen where they just go see all 3 movies in just one day. So, unless anybody wants to do that, I don't know. But anyway, all right, moving on to this next topic. So, you know how we're somebody, right? Well, now there is nobody too. But anyway, it looks good. It is the sequel from the first movie, Nobody, which I really thought was really good until when COVID hit, and then, it didn't make a lot of money, but a lot of the audiences seem to enjoy it. So can't wait to see what this sequel brings. It reminds me a bit of John Wick is going on vacation from the movie, and the song is playing Holiday Road. So anyway, what are your thoughts on that, guys?
So I like Nobody. It was it was a more casual John Wick, like you're saying. And it was just like, this isn't exactly accurate. It just feels like the poor man's John Wick kind of deal, but in a good way. And like, yeah, we just want a little bit more fun with that. So I'm down for more. I'm not offended by there being a sequel. And the trailer, I thought it was decent. Like, I didn't love it, but I thought it was decent. And again, I was watching these with my dad, and he was like, "Oh man, I'm so there. Why is August 15th so far away?" And I'm just like, "All right, settle down now." But it looks fun. It looks fun.
It does. It looks fun.
But yeah, go ahead. Clint.
I
Sorry.
I think I forgot like the first one, to be honest with you. I'll probably have to rewatch it before the second one comes out. But yeah, this looks
It's
pretty
really
fun.
good. Yeah, you definitely got to see the first movie because the first one is about him as a character. I mean, I love the actor, by the way. He was in Better Call Saul. I mean, he's just a phenomenal actor. You know the guy's name, right? He's
Yeah,
like
Bob
Bob.
Odenkirk,
Was
and
Bob Odenkirk?
Bob
yeah, the first
Odenkirk.
one, yeah, the first one I definitely have seen. I too, like Clint, I don't remember a ton of the specifics. I just remember kind of the highlights. But I too will have to go back and rewatch to give myself a refresher. So that's actually
I
good that
mean,
it's not until like towards the end of summer.
it's a fun ride. I mean, I look at this movie as it's kind of like, it's funny because it has RZA in it. It's got Christopher Lloyd, who is Doc Brown in Back to the Future, and I thought he stole the show in that one too. I mean, the funniest thing I
Yeah.
loved from this movie was when he was like pretending he was asleep, and then all of a sudden the gun goes off, and he's like, gets him right in there, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing performance by Christopher Lloyd. But can't wait to see what he does. And I heard they're coming back in the sequel, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I think so too. So I think this will be a good movie, or at least it'll be fun anyway.
Yeah.
Like it'll be fun going on
Yes.
vacation. And I like at the end of the trailer when he says, "I'm on freaking vacation." Like just starts beating him up.
Yeah.
Hilarious. But anyway, all right, guys, ready for the next thing? All right, we're ready. Let's go. All right, last movie on our list that we'll be discussing, and it is the trailer to Stephen King's The Long Walk, which is directed by Francis Lawrence, who did the Hunger Games franchise, and it is written by J.T. Molnar, who directed Strange Darling and was my favorite movie of last year. So, what are your thoughts on this?
This is another one of I have to default to you guys, so y'all take it away on this one.
Oh my gosh, don't do that because I quickly read that list that you guys gave me and I was like, yeah, okay. And then when Andrew brought it up, I was like, oh, I knew I forgot something. So
Yeah, I mean, this is just
I
not
didn't
in
see
my
this either.
wheelhouse.
Okay, well, I'll just give it a refresher to you guys. So, like, once you go and watch the trailer, it
Okay.
is like the most insane type you're ever going to see. So, it is similar to the Hunger Games, but except it's a bunch of kids that are like trying to do this walk where, it's like one man survivor wins like thousands of dollars. So, similar to Hunger Games, except more about jogging or walking or something like that. But what's really special about this movie is like it has all the different types of characters. It stars Cooper Hoffman, who is the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, who was in lots of movies. I mean, one of our favorites was Saturday Night. He was also in Licorice Pizza. It also stars the kid from Alien Romulus, who I thought did a really good job in this movie. And so this also stars Mark Hamill in it. And I was like stunned when I saw the trailer. I was like, Mark Hamill? Really? Awesome. All right. So that's where I kind of went into this thinking, all right, this is going to be something where it'll kind of feel us like how we watch the Hunger Games movies. And so can't wait to see where this plays out. So if you check out the trailer, you might see something crazy. All right, guys.
Cool.
Wow. All right, cool. All right, let's move on to the next news. So AMC Theaters is now doing a 50% off of their ticket prices starting in July on Wednesdays. And so when you compare to so many other theater corporations and they have their own deals, do you think that other theater organizations are going to have to compete this summer to try to get people into the business of movies.
I don't think it's just going to be a all of a sudden kind of, oh man, we need to compete with them kind of deal, because I think it's an industry wide trend. When one does one, the rest tend to do the same, or at least really similarly, or in their own version. So my personal take is that, yeah, because of this, I think you'll see other chains start to do some type of competitive thing. Maybe they'll do 40% off and you get some other type of thing, or maybe you get buy one, get one free on Wednesdays, something like that. You'll, I think, see chains start to do that too as a competitive thing, because it's just kind of a, well, if they can afford to do it, we got to kind of do it. Not 100% of a guarantee. That's just what I think. I think that most theaters, most bigger chains will start doing something else to compete. I think it's a big move because Wednesday, if I'm statistically speaking correctly, is the lowest day attended, even over Monday, because so you get the weekend, right, and then you get the Monday people who come in trying not to get the crowd, and so it's the not trying to get into a crowd, so. And then people do movies on Tuesdays because they already have a value day for most places. And then Wednesday just kind of has nothing. And then Thursdays has some type of deal. And then there's the weekend again. So Monday's got some type of not special day. I mean, there's always the mystery movies for like Regal has those, Marcus has those. And so so that technically has a day. Tuesday has a value day. Thursday has a day. So Wednesday is just kind of the outlier. So it was more or less not a long time coming, but you could kind of see where like, okay, we need to take advantage of Wednesdays to help, get, fannies and seats kind of deal. So I think it's a big move, but not completely shocking. And I think other theaters are going to follow suit in their own version. They're going to not mimic the exact same thing, but they'll do something similar to kind of match the value of what that presents to guests.
Clint, thoughts?
I don't really know, because I think like for this, and I know that we're talking about this obviously, but like why are we talking about this is my question. Because like what is the average price for a AMC theater ticket for it to be cut in half on a Wednesday?
That's a great question. I don't know. So if that were, I
That
think if you talked about a regular admission, it'd be like what, $13, $14, I think.
I'm
okay.
looking at it right now.
So
The average.
Go
okay.
ahead, Clint, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was gonna say it right now. It is the average price for an AMC movie ticket is around $12.22.
Okay.
But in location that is like
Okay.
higher in other major cities, it's like New York and LA for like at least $20
Okay.
a ticket.
Okay. So for us who live in Virginia, the average price is going to be $12. So half of that is $6. So on Tuesdays, you guys so Marcus already does $6 Tuesdays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really competing with anything. And I understand, I think for this to have like a bigger impact is like Andrew said, like having like in those major cities where your ticket prices are like $20, that's where I can be like, okay, well this actually can that's where you start to see the effect of like AMC having these 50% off like nights or whatever, or Wednesdays. But it's not really going to affect like areas like us, because we can already do that at Marcus on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
But what's
for
like
other theaters to
Sorry, go ahead. I apologize. Keep going.
So, no, it's fine. So for other theaters to compete with this, Like they have to like figure that out. Like it's gonna have to be that 50%, or like you said, Alex, like a 40% across the board for their prices, but it's not really going to affect like a lot of places.
Yeah, and see, that's what I was gonna bring up too, is like, okay, like from a lot of places that are just too expensive, but think about the Tuesday deals they already do now. And so now are we gonna still do the Tuesday deals, or are we just now moving from Tuesdays to Wednesdays? Because you can't do Tuesday and Wednesday, because then you're not getting enough money. And so that's pretty much like what AMC is trying to do, is saying we're just going to add more deals for Tuesdays and Wednesdays, get more people to come back every, for one big movie. And I get that, because you got Superman, you got Jurassic World, you got Fantastic Four, and that's why you need to get audiences back into theaters, but not everybody wants to go because the tickets are so high. So that's why it's going to be interesting to see if like AMC still does the Tuesday deal and they do a Wednesday. So it's like they're doing 2 days of cheap tickets.
And it's kind of a perplexing time that they're announcing this, because I don't want to say it's too late for other theaters to match, because I don't think it is. But it is kind of a, well, see, they don't, did they even say when it's going to take effect? Like, I know they say the summer, but did they say specifically?
I think they said July, so like
Okay.
right near when the three big movies come out. So it's like that's a really good smart strategy, because what other big movies are coming out in June that gets audiences
I
in?
mean, other than How to Train Your Dragon, there's there's Ballerina, there's I know there's a number that I'm forgetting. There's like three or four
F1.
that are coming up. Yeah, F1's
F1.
yeah. Shoot, there's something else coming out on the 20th. Elio will be, I don't know how big that'll be,
For
but
kids.
yeah, for
Elio,
kids,
yeah.
It's a
yeah.
kids
So
movie.
it's an interesting time that they're doing this, because it's like, I don't know if theaters have enough, or competitors have enough time to kind of like, all right, we got to get something up in the next, month plus, and have it rolled out to compete, because that July, in my opinion, I mean, it doesn't even have to be my opinion. July is going to be insane. That's just a fact. I mean, it's got like out of the 4 weeks, every week's got a, smash,
Big
like
movie.
punch you in the face kind of movie. And so, I mean, just to, it was already going to be busy, and then you have to slash prices in order to get more people back over to your area. It just,
I think
yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what other theaters do to
I think that was their
compare.
thought process.
Yeah.
That was their process, to try to get like 2 days worth of cheap tickets, and think about other theater industries now are going to copy the same thing in the summertime. So who knows? We'll see. All right, guys, we're gonna now end things off finally with our upcoming movies and shows that we're interested in seeing. So wow. Wow, guys. So, also, before we talk about this, let's bring a shout out to one of my good friends, Nathaniel's birthday today. I mean, he's up in Seattle, like only 3 hours away. I don't know what he's up to right now, but if he's watching the show, I'm going to say, I wish you a happy birthday, man. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you are. If you're not, that's okay. Just check it out tomorrow. But anyway, yep, I am just very excited to talk more about movies with you guys. Thank you so much for joining. I really had a fun time. But anyway, before we end our chat, let's end our conversation with our upcoming movies or shows that we are very excited for, and we just talked about it a lot on this discussion. So you said one of your favorites, Alex, is How to Train Your Dragon. So
Yes, even though
what's
it's
so fascinating about
basically
this movie?
a one-to-one, I think it's going to be more or less a one-to-one shot from the original like animation, and plus it has the same director, so that doesn't help that cause. Um, I am excited about it. Because How to Train Your Dragon. Now granted, I think the movies are the animated versions are vastly different from what I've told from the books. They're still great movies. And it's just like, it's fun to get I think it might just be like, maybe we're a little ignorant and we don't know yet, like if it's going to be good. and we're just kind of in that phase that like, oh, when they started doing live action Disney movies, like when they first started, it's like, oh man, you know what? I really like that. Seeing it in live action was really great. Hopefully, it's not the same thing where it's just kind of a big meh ball. I'm excited. I like How to Train Your Dragon. It's my favorite, at least my favorite Disney DreamWorks trilogy, hands down. Is it my favorite animated trilogy? Ooh, I'd have to think about that for a while. It's up there. But that's my definite outlier outside of Superman. I would say that's if you take Superman out of the equation, it's my number one for the year. I'm trying to think of other ones that I'm like super excited about, but you guys, we can go roundtable a little bit. If you guys want to, squeak in one that like you're most anticipated for the rest of the year, outside of the ones kind of we've already talked about, please go right ahead. While I look for another one that I might be missing.
Sounds good. So yeah, Clint, you said to me you were between the Ballerina movie and Badland or Prideland or Predator Badlands. And so which one of these are you looking forward to, and what's so exciting about them?
Probably Badlands. Predator Badlands. I think that Dave Trachtenberg, who did Prey for Hulu, revitalized the Predator series after whatever the Predators were, whatever the the one before that. I think it's The Predator. Okay, that one was horrible, stinky, bad. Okay,
Yeah,
and
it
I
was
think
bad. I
that
agree.
like even like so the Alien versus Predators were bad. Requiem was horrible. I liked Predators with Adrian Brody, but I think that Dan Trachtenberg got this one like Prey right, and I think that he put it into like a whole new thing. And with this one, it looks like they're gonna go to like their home planet, and there's going to be the alien connections. But I don't think they're gonna like shoehorn it in like Alien versus Predator. So I hope that this one looks cool. I'm a big fan of Elle Fanning. So I think this is probably my most anticipated for the rest of the year. Sans Superman, because I'm a big DC fan. So yeah, I think Predator Badlands is probably gonna be my next one.
Okay, that is really good. I agree with you on Predator Badlands. I think watching the Prey movie, which I thought was one of the coolest movies I've seen ever for a Predator franchise. And what saddens me the most is we never got a theater debut of that. And I believe this movie would have made so much money in the theaters. But guess what? We were under COVID pandemic era, and that's what kind of threw us off with that. So I was really saddened to hear that, we never really got to experience the full vision of a really amazing Prey movie. And so hopefully with Badlands, it will repeat the same thing from the first one. So we'll see. I mean, I love Elle Fanning.
Yeah.
She was really good in a lot of films, and I think she's going to do a really good job with this one. So for me, my most anticipated movie, and I was jumping around there at times, but I will say yes as well. Like Ballerina is definitely at number 2, but my number 1 is Karate Kid Legends. And the only reason I say this, guys, is because I watched the show Cobra Kai. And I know some of you never saw the show, and I forgive you, don't worry. And, oh yeah, Alex, I mean, I can see you, but you didn't see the show. But I heard your parents watched the show too.
Hold on. Clint's got something.
Oh, time out?
What? You haven't seen Cobra Kai Never Dies? Bro.
Oh, bro.
Okay.
But, okay. It's like, don't worry, Alex. don't worry. We're gonna just strike first. We're gonna strike hard, and we will still give you mercy, but not too much mercy on this show.
So this is
Because
what happens
we are
when
a
you hang out with a bunch
debates.
of 80s babies, when you do not watch any of their content or any of their like content.
Oh man, that's crazy. I would just say this: the show is amazing, and I mean, speaking from me personally, I remember watching the show when it was on YouTube Red, and I just said to myself, "Okay, I've seen the movies. I watched, of course, the remake with Jaden Smith, and obviously, there was some good moments, some bad moments, but it was not bad. But the show really develops well with Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso, and they all get together sort of like in a kind of funny type of way. But what's so amazing is the final season, and I can't stop thinking about that final season, because that moment at the very end, and if you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. And I can't say this on the show because I want people to see this. It is a great finale. I've never seen a show end in such a great way. And so seeing Karate Kid Legends on the big screen with Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, I mean, we're in this Miyagi-verse right now. And hopefully with the post, and I heard there's a post-credit scene, I pray we do see Johnny Lawrence. Please give us some more Lawrence love, okay? Great character. Probably my favorite throughout the whole entire series. And yeah, that's pretty much I can talk about. But anyway, I could say that we all are excited for is Ballerina, obviously. Our last thing I want to talk about is because I know you, Clint, are excited. I'm excited. And Alex, you have to be excited because I don't know why you wouldn't want to watch John Wick.
Oh yeah, I definitely like these movies. I've watched every John Wick, so I'm excited for this. Yeah, for sure.
I think what impresses me about Ballerina is how it sets really well towards, like Anna de Armas, who's a really good actress, and her fighting skills are pretty good. I believe, like, with Keanu coming in, and now all of a sudden he's going after her because that woman who is played by Angelica Houston ends up sending him to kill her. I'm like going, oh, this is going to be so cool. Just seeing John Wick become the other side of the role versus seeing him as, oh, he's the protagonist. Not this time. We got to see Anna de Armas fight more.
Mm-hmm.
But I also am saddened by the guy who... Exciting. Yes, exciting for sure. I'm really still sad about Lance Reddick. I mean, seeing him in his final role, man, that's going to be a heartbreak to watch for sure. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining this channel and joining the fun that we discussed on movies. I can't wait to do this again with you guys soon. Let's keep talking to one another, just see where things go. And this was really fun. Thank you so much, guys, also for joining. If you haven't seen the show, definitely check me out. I'm always on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Rumble, and TikTok. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Have a good night.